Stacey and try and give her a layup here after me, so I'm going to do my best and also try not to make too much eye contact with the troublemakers at table 19. As I began writing this speech, I felt like a mosquito on a crowded news colony. The end goal was clear, but where to begin? I bet that one of you, most of you here, but for those of you I haven't, my name is Asa. I've been friends with Brian and Michelle since 2013. We both arrived at Michigan State for their freshman year. And I've enjoyed the past years in Chicago as their unconditionally reliable / extremely needy neighbor. In that time, I've also grown to know the incredible Winterfield and Gear families, Mike, Jill, Allie, Dan, Merm, and Stacey, and I consider them family. I want to take a second to thank them for this amazing weekend and all our work that's gone into it. It's awesome looking out on nearly 250 people here from all over the country. A lot of Michigan and Chicago, but also people from New York, all the way to Los Angeles. It's truly amazing to see how far people travel for a free meal. In all seriousness, thank you to everyone who had an impact on Brian and Michelle and made the trip to come out this weekend. Now on to these two and a little bit of storytelling. When I met Brian at Michigan State, he came in more wide-eyed than rapid freshman. I would describe him as a sponge. The guy was soaking up everything he could, living out his dream of playing Big Ten soccer at Michigan State, the school where his parents met, and the school whose athletic department's performance was directly responsible for his happiness at all times. His father, Mike, didn't know if he was encouraging such man and sports fandom. That's a topic for another day. Brian and I became immediate friends during that preseason. I remember one of the first few days he was talking about how excited he was about his journey ahead of Michigan State. He rattled off the legendary Chinese proverb, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Very profound from a female freshman that could have easily been mistaken for an 8th grader. Nonetheless, he had my attention. This quote showed me what many of you here know. Once you peel past the initial layer of Brian, there's no going layer by layer. You get the rest of the onion in its entirety. Which, depending upon the moment, could be much more than you asked for. I'm very similar in this way, so our friendship grew strong quickly. Only a few weeks into school, I knew a ton about Brian. He told me a lot about his friendships back in Grand Lake and his strong relationship with his family. I learned about his competitive drive that carries over everything, from academia to sports, to career aspirations, to things as simple as getting a laugh jab after an argument or joke, which happens regularly. But without a doubt, the most recurring topic in that freshman fall semester was that Brian really liked to run the women's soccer team. Her name was Michelle. I grew to know Michelle naturally through the Michigan State soccer family. She was a confident, driven girl that was laser focused on excelling both in the classroom and on the soccer field. Her success in both, along with her general poise, made her as desirable as they come, and slightly intimidating. With the commonalities of their major, soccer, and friends, it's no surprise that Brian and Michelle spent an inordinate amount of time together over the course of college. Because of this, they became close almost immediately and learned everything about each other, though both came at the relationship from slightly different approaches. To this day, Brian doesn't mince words. He does not hesitate to make decisions. He often says, I know what the end result is. I don't know the path there, but I know where the pursuit ends. And in those pursuits, to both his strength and sometimes his detriment, he goes straight for the jugular. He knew immediately that he wanted to be with Michelle here, and he made that known. Quite possibly on the first day student athletes were allowed to move into North Wonders Hall their freshman year. Similarly to today, Michelle was thoughtful and took a more long-term view on the college experience and what life had in store for her after. Priorities 1A and 1B were friends and family, and succeeding in the rigors of school and soccer. But beyond that, she seemed comfortable taking in everything college had to offer and not in a rush to act deliberately. Despite their different approaches, the foundation of their relationship continued to grow strongly. Plenty of late night studying at the Smith Center, gluttonous meals at Wendy's, and the shared experience of navigating the hiring process for bank. Throughout that time, though, Brian never took his eyes off what he could be the end result. Fast forward a couple years, and Brian and Michelle were nearing the end of their junior year. At the season date of 22, I had set out to take on the Titans ministry. Brian and I stayed close during that time while he and Michelle were still in school. And I'd begun hearing rumblings from Brian that things with Michelle were different. I might have only been operating at 33% of the average adult brain, following a final semester that consisted of double duty of ramen, drinking pitchers in the morning, and Rick's American Cafe, pounding red blackers at night. But using history as my guide, I was slightly skeptical of his plan. He pleaded otherwise, but I wanted to see for myself. A couple weeks later, as summer began, Brian and Michelle came down to Kentucky with a big Michigan State trip for the Derby. We enjoyed the weekend of festivities, and naturally a lot of introductions were made to my hometown friends from Louisville. I was standing around with Brian, one of my friends from home. Michelle walked up just a feet in front of us and talked to another girl. My friend looks at Brian and I, my God, who is that? Michelle dear, I said, and gave him the spark notes. Seconds later, Brian perks up and begins to walk over to Michelle. He heads over with more confidence than Mel Tucker in an in-home recruiting visit. She gazed up at him with a huge smile on her face and put her arm back around him. My friend looks at me. Brian is the man. I look back. I swear to God, that has never happened. A look can tell you a lot, and that moment told it all. Brian was right. The incredible foundation that had been built at the beginning of college had now set the stage for an even better relationship to grow. And together, Brian and Michelle were ready for takeoff. As the saying goes, timing's everything, and conveniently, Brian's 21st birthday was in Chicago a few weeks later. We saw a huge Michigan State group come up to take the trip to celebrate, Michelle included. And then the summer followed, with Brian and Michelle both having internships in New York City where the beginning of their time as a couple was fully realized. From that summer on, the only way to describe them is inseparable. Everyone here has witnessed the unconditional love and support we both provide each other in the largest and smallest ways. And it has been essential as we navigated a number of successes and challenges. Just to name a few. Wrapping up your time in Michigan State together, places we've treasured so deeply. Taking on new careers in Houston, a brand new city that forced you to confront all of the challenges of a new job and making friends at once. Earning top jobs in Chicago and transitioning into a new phase of your careers with much more responsibility and trial. And having the courage to leave one of those jobs to found a company, knowing all the late nights and early mornings that lie ahead, but persisting anyways. All of that and more is brought you to this night, the biggest success of your lives. The journey of 1,000 miles really does begin with a single step. And today, Brian and Michelle, in front of all your friends and family, you've reached the 1,000th mile of your 9-year pre-marriage journey together. Most of that time spent as a couple, but all of it spent as best friends. I'm almost done, guys. Today, a new journey of 1,000 miles begins. And as you take that first step, I speak for everybody here in saying we couldn't be prouder of you and the people you've come. And we are excited to be by your side for every step ahead, no matter where that takes you. If everyone could raise a glass. Congratulations, Brian and Michelle. We love you too, and let's have one hell of a night.
Let's give it up for Asa, ladies and gentlemen.
Hi everyone. I just wanted to take this chance to thank every one of you on behalf of my family and the Winterfield family for taking time out of your busy lives to celebrate this special day for Michelle and Brian. This day would not be what it is without you. I'm Stacey, and I'm Michelle's younger sister, her little mama, and her very best friend. Some people say we look alike, but a lot of people also say we act alike. And that's not my chance. I actually copied her. And I remember growing up thinking if Michelle didn't like something, then I didn't either. That's when I came to find out at age 22 that I indeed did like mayonnaise and had been avoiding it my whole life. I don't think you can blame me for copying her. She's quite literally a perfect human and good at everything she's ever tried. But more importantly, she's caring, thoughtful, trustworthy, and an amazing friend. It shows in how many wonderful people are here tonight to celebrate her. She makes the room better by just being in it. I've heard people say that they're close with their sisters, but I can truly say she's not only my best friend, but my role model, my voice of reason, my person with the biggest pain in my butt, and the first person I call. These phone calls are so frequent that when my phone was ringing the other day, my boyfriend had yelled at me, "Your sister's calling," even though my phone was in a different room than he was. And I asked him, "How did you know that?" He goes, "Well, it's Whitby." She has always been the biggest influence in my life, so much that I will point told me jumping into quicksand was a good idea. I was like, okay, yep, here's one, let's go. She's a very special older sister. Not many sisters would let you use their fake ID to go with them to the bar. Or invite you on spring break with all of their friends, or send you a box of desserts. Sorry. Because you get a box car. When we get old and then die off, our plan is to buy a little house and live together forever. As you can see, I clearly think Michelle is the sun that shines on this earth. Quite literally, so you can understand why I never thought any of her boyfriends were good enough for her. Then comes Brian. I keep hearing all these stories about how much Brian loved Michelle early on in their college careers, but I have a different memory. I'm going to take everyone back to February 14th, 2014. I was a junior in high school, visiting my sister at Michigan State for the first time. As we're walking down the hallway of Wonders Hall, this curly-haired boy comes out of his room and he goes, "Hey, Michelle, how'd you do on an accounting exam?" They chat and then he goes into another room and we keep on our way. I asked Michelle, "Who was that?" And she goes, "Oh, that's Brian. I love him, but he loves everyone." I can't say from that first encounter that I knew he would be the one for my sister, or really the next few years of encounters. But as Brian himself once said, Rome wasn't built in a day. In college, Brian would invite me to soccer parties at his house. He also rescued me from a frat party when the cops showed up. But the first time I felt, wow, this one was really different. He was really like my sister. It's when I had the stomach flu sophomore year of college. The only food I felt like I could eat was pasta from Noodles and Company. But I didn't have a car at school, and Michelle was away playing soccer. This was when Brian so kindly offered to pick me up and take me to get noodles just me and him. I'm sure he doesn't think of that day as anything significant, but it's something that always stuck with me. If he's willing to do something like that to take care of me, then I think he'll do a pretty good job of taking care of my sister. There's nothing more you want for your sibling than to find a life partner that goes above and beyond every day and loves them unconditionally. And Brian has shown over and over that he takes this role very seriously. Brian. Brian, your brother, I cannot say that I've always wanted, because I really never did. But from the day you proposed, I've always referred to you as my brother, not my brother-in-law, because it just felt more right. When gaining Brian as a brother, we also gained the whole Winterfield family, and we could not be luckier. For those of you who might not know, Michelle and Brian are the same human, as you've heard multiple times tonight. They both played soccer at Michigan State, they both were number 18, they both studied finance, they're both very stubborn and difficult, and honestly, they kind of look like siblings. They're very, very goal-oriented, to the point that most of our dinner conversation with me is, what are your goals for the next 5 years? And what are the highs and lows of this year, what would you want to take away? How was your day today? They're extra as heck, but they're the perfect match for each other. And I've never seen someone who can calm Michelle down better or make her happier. And I feel like Brian's been part of our family for years, but I'm so happy today it's official. Michelle, Brian might get too sweaty and angry watching Michigan State football. And Brian, Michelle might still sleep with her baby blankie. But the two of you live beyond the perks of one another and truly live life as the best of friends. You're the best team, each other's biggest fans, and both willing and wanting to eat chicken tenders and be at 9:30. You're an adventure and a home all in one. And I could not ask for better siblings. I love you both very much, and I cannot wait for you to give me nieces and nephews. Thank you, everyone.
First of all, I want to welcome all of our closest family and friends here tonight to help us celebrate this special evening with Brian and Michelle. The older we get, the more we cherish great family and friends. Between Michelle and Brian, we have family and friends here from 15 different states plus Canada. There are high school friends, there are college friends, there's happy family friends, there's soccer friends, and many other special friends. Gloria and I are also very fortunate tonight to have a lot of the same family and friends that we had at our wedding 31 years ago here again tonight. I'd like to take a moment and give special thanks to my beautiful wife, Lori. Our two girls have been her focus since the day Michelle was born, and she's done an outstanding job. Our wonderful daughter, Stacy, she has always been a very good sister to Michelle, and needless to say, you can tell they're extremely close. When they were young, if I disciplined one, the other would turn on me instantly. Fast forward 20 years to today, not a single thing has changed. I would also like to introduce you to Brian's parents for those of you who do not know them. Joe and Mike. They are simply wonderful people. They were extremely helpful with this wedding, more than we can say. It's been a joy. And we've truly gained a couple new friends through Mike and Jill. We look forward to many more MSU basketball and football games and other events together. We also gain new friends through Mike and Jill. But mostly Mike and Jill, we want to thank you for Brian. He has made our daughter extremely happy. You truly have raised an outstanding young man. Brian, we are so happy you are with Michelle and part of our family. And we're glad that you stuck it out. Michelle, you are very easy to raise. Never a problem, only a joy since you were a baby. You have done nothing but make us happy and proud, and we love you. And we're glad you found Brian. Now a little bit about Michelle and Brian. I think Michelle and Asa stole a little of my thunder with Reverend Hulbert, so I'm going to skip a few things here. Lori and I always knew where Michelle was when she was young, and even now, because she constantly sings. I mean nonstop. Music is her biggest passion. Michelle also loves to talk. When she was young, we had this place outside. We used to sit on our deck, and we called it our conversation place when she was about 4 or 5 years old. And I would set her up on the rail, and we would talk. I vividly remember a few of the conversations. One time she looked at me calmly and said, "Daddy, how old do I have to be before I don't have to listen to you and Mommy anymore?" Another time, she calmly looked at me and said, "How old do I have to be before I can move out of the house?" That's a rather alarming statement coming from a 4 or 5-year-old. Another time, she simply stated, "When I'm old enough, I'm moving to New York." Now, I don't even know where a 4 or 5-year-old, even how she knew about New York. We never talked about New York. It had to have been from TV, probably Barney. But Michelle never forgot about New York. And as you heard, her junior year, she moved to New York for a summer internship program. And we knew about Brian, right? But when we heard about Brian also moving to New York for an internship program at a different company, we said, there could be a future here. Right? So, Reverend Hulbert, you did a nice job. Thank you very much. And you did a nice job outlining Brian's history, so I'm going to skip that part. But I will tell you a couple things that they do have a lot of things in common. The soccer, the same major, the same interests. They both love working out. But what the thing that they have most in common by far is they are both, and anybody here knows this, they're both insanely self-driven and extremely tenacious in everything they do. And how hard they work, how hard they work out, and how hard they play. It's 24/7. Brian, you could be MSU's biggest basketball and football fan. He follows the stats daily, year-round. I'm actually very surprised we're not dressed in green tonight. This wedding was intentionally scheduled around MSU playing a weak and meaningless football team. Wasn't my chance. So if you guys see Brian with an earpiece in his ear later tonight, don't feel sorry for him. It's not a hearing aid. Again, thank all of you for making this special night for us. So raise your glass. Michelle and Brian, we love you, and we know you're going to have a great marriage together. Cheers.